all sent to you. All right. So we have been talking about this is again our fourth business building Facebook Live. I try to do them on Monday just to be consistent, but I wanted to come back because I haven't done one in a couple of weeks. So first, before we get started, let me say hello to everybody. Hey, Victoria, Lavetta, how you doing? Melanie, how you doing? I'm not answering that. And somebody else joined too that I didn't get to say hello to. Who was that? Oh, I think that's it. All right. So guys, again, hit that on the bottom left-hand corner. Make sure you hit the share button so other people can join. All right. So here are a couple of things that we've been talking about. So I've been these are for stop calling. These are for these are not for. I told you guys I started these because it's very easy, at least for me, to find people who are willing to share and talk about what it took for them to grow their business from the $1 million mark and up. But I find very little information or discussion around those who are under that amount or who, like myself, are brand new and are just looking to grow. And so I wanted to create an environment or a discussion for those of us who are just starting out, who are just trying to figure it out, so we can share ideas, so we can express what is working, what isn't working, talk about our struggles, talk about our fears, talk about all that kind of stuff. So that was the genesis of this idea, and this again is our fourth one. Somebody really want to talk to me, huh? That's all right. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. So today I want to give you guys an update or some of the things that I've been trying, and some of the things that I've been seeing, and some of the things that I've been talking to my peers about. So this is the time of year where a lot of people are getting into that phase where, because money is either money is running out or things aren't going like they planned. Some people are getting discouraged and wondering if this was a good idea, and that happens to everybody, first of all. So let's be clear. That happens to every single person who goes into business for themselves, because when you work a regular job, it's not you know that you're going to get a paycheck every week, every Friday, every other Friday, whatever the pay is. But when you are an entrepreneur, as we say, you eat what you hunt, and if you don't catch anything that day, then there's nothing to eat. And so your mindset is different. And so when you start having multiple days where you don't catch anything, then it can become discouraging. Or when you see the things that are happening around you and it seems like everybody else is doing well and you're not, it can become discouraging. And so I've had several conversations over the last couple of weeks with people who are kind of at that point or just tired because, again, it is almost, it's getting close to the middle of the year. So what are some of the things that we've talked about, that I've talked about, or that I've shared with people, or even I've discovered for myself when you get into that space? Because, again, we all get there. It's a normal part of business. The truth of the matter is, no matter how large your business is, if it's not growing the way that you think it is, or certain things aren't going to happen, then those thoughts are normal, okay? Those thoughts are completely normal, so don't think that you are alone. So what are some of the things, some of the practical things that you can do, because that's what I like to talk about, the practical things you can do to change that if it happens. So here are a couple of things that I come up with. So the first thing that I talk about is simply changing your surroundings. So we've talked about before, one of the key strategies for people who might not have crowdsourcing or who might not have millions of dollars to invest in a business. Hey, Shalita. Hey, Rashonda. How you doing? Hey, Marquita. One of the best things that you can do if you are in that is to build a network of people, of other entrepreneurs or of other people who who will help support that whatever endeavor you're doing. You guys know that probably in terms of business, two of the closest people to me that I talk to almost every single day are, of course, Kelly Johnson, who has Curvy Kitten, and Shaquila Willis, who has Elegance by Design. We bounce ideas off of each other all the time. However, there are certain times when you need to adjust or change your surroundings, meaning sometimes you need to look for other networks that you can plant yourself into, so you can get fresh or different ideas from other people. There are some experiences and some exposures that other people can give you that your surrounding or your circle or the people who you you deal with on a daily basis might not have. And it doesn't mean that you have to remove yourself from your current surrounding. It just means that maybe at some point you know, kind of like you get it and then you bring it back to your group, which is something that we do. There are certain things right now that each of us are trying that we on a regular basis will talk about, or we'll say, hey, did you try this yet? And if you did, tell me your thoughts or how it worked for you. So, for example, I asked them today, had they tried the new landing page feature in the Power Editor. So, for those of you guys who don't know, you typically have to have in order to capture information. So, you guys know when you go to a website, and that little pop-up thing comes up that says, if you like more information or whatever, put your name and information in there, and then you put it in there and they start sending you stuff or they send you something else. That's called a landing page. So Facebook now has a tool where you can build one through Facebook and capture email addresses or information to people who visit your page. So I asked them, had they tried this? They said no, they hadn't tried this, and so we kind of talked through the benefits of it, what we thought, things we had heard about it, et cetera, et cetera. And then I said, okay, well, I guess at some point I'm going to have to be the test dummy and try to figure it out. From there, I was able to go and talk to somebody else outside of that network who has some expertise into them, and they were able to give me some pointers and some tips that they've seen that have made those effective. And whether or not the person should or should not use it. So I went outside of my normal network in order to bring stuff back to my current network, and what that allowed me to do was that gave me the opportunity to get some exposure into some experience from a different set of people. So sometimes you have to do that in order so you're able to grow, and so in order for you to be able to continue to grow your business. Hey, Halim McCartney, my hero, how you doing? Great Al Capitan, how are you? Shalita Johnson, how you doing? So that's the first thing I do. Sometimes you got to change or expand your surroundings. The second thing that we've been talking about, and I've had to remind several people and myself, is to focus on your own road. So all of us have a different pace. All of us are going to grow our businesses at different rates. So sometimes we get lulled to sleep because we're looking at everybody else and we think that they're doing so well, and we wonder, okay, why is my business not growing? Why am I not getting the engagements that they're getting? Why are people, I have some, singer friends and preacher friends. How come they're getting all the engagements? How come people calling them to sing and they not calling me? Don't worry about any of that. Focus on your own road. Focus on your own craft. Focus on the things that you need to do to improve your business and yourself, and don't worry about trying to compete with other people, because we all have a different timing to get to our destination. So this is not a race, and your race is not against other people. Your job is to get better every single day. And yeah, I know we want to get there as fast as we can, but sometimes getting there fast doesn't mean that we'll get there right. Sometimes getting there fast means we're going to wreck something, we're going to ruin something, we could possibly hurt something that we can't fix. So take your time, and when I say take your time, I mean take your time in the sense of don't be concerned if it looks like other people are getting there faster than you. All right. The third thing that we talked about, is that sometimes that you've got to make you can't be afraid to make big changes. Now, I'm not talking about little changes. I'm talking about huge changes. There are some people you guys are stuck. Some of us are stuck in business because we refuse to make huge changes. And when I say huge changes, I'm referring to understanding sometimes when it's time to expand, and sometimes when it's time to contract. I'm talking about big changes, like sometimes it's time to hire somebody new and that you might not have normally wanted to hire, and sometimes it's time to fire some people. Sometimes you need to do a complete overhaul of certain parts of your business. Sometimes you need to bring in new technology, something. But there are some big things that you need to do, or that you might need to do, in order to take your business to the next step. And some of us are just too darn scared, and because we won't do that, we're going to continue to be stuck where we are. I have decided, and I have decided that I am going to completely rebrand and redo the entire Rent a Big Man concept. I'm not getting rid of the clothing line, but I am going to rebrand the entire thing. And the problem is, I don't know what I'm going to rebrand it to. I just know I'm going to change it. I just don't know what to. And that's a big move because for those of you guys who know, I've spent 2 years, 3 years establishing that brand, but I need to switch. And so I'm gonna switch. That's what I don't know what I'm gonna switch to, but I'm not I'm not so worried about switching that I think it's gonna hurt something. I don't think it's gonna hurt anything at all. I just think it needs to happen in order for my business to move forward to the next level. So I'm gonna do that. I got some other things I'm gonna do too. I'm not gonna tell y'all that stuff yet, but it's just some things that we got to do. Again, you cannot be afraid. If you are going to lead an organization, then fear cannot be what controls you. You've got to be able to look at a hard decision and make it, knowing, sometimes not even knowing what the result's going to be or what the next step's going to be, but sometimes you got to know, you feel it in your gut that this is not right, this person is not right, this technology is needed, and I know it's going to cost some money, but I got to do it. This move is something that needs to be done, but you got to do something sometimes as a business owner to step out and go to the next level. Here's one way that I know. What in the world? All that honking. One way that I know that it's time for a decision is to be made or something's to be made, is when you start noticing not just so much that your business is stuck, but when your people are stuck too. So if you lead an organization and the people who are following you are no longer able to see where you are going, or they're not able to do certain things, so then it might be time for you to make some adjustments or to make some changes, because change is one of the good things about change is it does help your creativity. It does, again, sometimes just shaking it up is just a good thing. Sometimes you just got to shake it up just in order to cause a little chaos. Sometimes a little chaos is not a bad thing. All right, so and then here's the fourth thing. So the fourth thing that I want to talk to you guys about is that you got to make sure that, what is this? Attention. Is that you got to make sure that whatever you're doing, that people, that you have the attention of people. So some of the small, minute things. Some of you guys have really great products and really great services, and your organizations are really, really good. But the problem is no one can see you because you are doing and saying the same thing that everybody else is doing and that everybody else is saying. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and do something that you don't believe in, or do something that that is against your morals or your character. However, if you want to stand out in your industry, people have to know you are in the industry. And it's just that simple. If people don't know who you are, if people don't know what you do, or if you look like every single person that is that's in your field, nobody's going to know, because nobody's going to be able to differentiate what you offer versus what somebody else offers. And that is not good for you, because then it becomes a matter of sometimes of just luck. And we all know, like I said earlier, stuff's not just going to happen by luck. People have to see you. They have to do something for you to stand out in the crowd. So you've got to do something, whether it is your social media presence, whether it is doing events, whether it is whatever it is, you got to, whether it's your personality, you got to find out what it is that you do, or what it is that you have that other people don't have, that's going to differentiate yourself from your competition, and you got to ride that thing till the wheels fall off, okay? It's that simple. Because if you don't do that, then inevitably you are going to fall into the same crowd. So I used to work for JP Morgan Chase several years ago, and one of the reasons that for them I thought it was a great thing, but for me I hated it, was when I worked at JP Morgan Chase. If you guys know, for those of you guys, everybody wears the same thing. So you always wore a black suit, a blue Chase shirt, and a Chase tie. I thought that was for them. The uniform was great. It was real easy getting dressed in the morning because you knew what you were going to wear. But if it was ever a time where I was trying to differentiate myself from the other bankers in my branch, or the other people in the organization, it's very difficult to do that if you want to do it by, of course, looks. Now, obviously, in that scenario, what stands out is your numbers, whereas your performance. However, again, just from a physical, from just looking, if a customer or somebody were to walk in, and I had a guy who's one of my really good friends now, who we actually kind of looked alike. So when people would come in, they would look at us and be like, "Oh my God, y'all look like the same person." So it was very difficult at times to differentiate ourselves again from one another. Again, our performances did. Different was what differentiated ourselves, and our relationships did. But we had to find something in that, because we all looked, and that's the same thing that happens. So, so some of you all who are, whatever your industry is, if you're in finance, you can't be just like everybody else. If you're in, if you're trying to market your book cover and the way you pitch it can't look like everybody else. If you are, again, an artist, your paintings or your pictures can't look like everybody else. If you're a singer, everybody can't sound like Courtney Slaughter. Like, it can't be like that. You have to do something that differentiates yourself from your competition, that lets people know that if I need X, then I know I need to call you. So find out what that is and then work it. And when I say work it, I'm saying your social media, work it in social media, work it in your print, work it in your, in print magazines, work it on video, work it in every possible angle that you can, in order that you can get the attention that is necessary. And do it. And this is one of the things we've been having this discussion about LeVar Ball and their whole big baller brand thing. And that's the one thing that I keep telling people, is that y'all can disagree with whatever you want about the man. I don't love the way he does everything. But if the man hasn't figured out anything, it's how to get free advertising. It's how to get free attention. It's the same thing. And if you don't like him, it's the same thing throughout President Trump's campaign that he did. He said crazy stuff, and guess what? And they kept him on TV. Do you all know that I track this every week on our radio show. We talked about this. We talked about how the simple fact that every news media organization kept talking about him, that at some point it was going to help him. And it did. So as much as we don't like him, or a lot of people don't like him, even though he didn't win the popular vote, even though, however you might feel about him, but these two men have figured out a way to stay in our faces. And over time, if they do that and they do something, they continue to do it right, they will continue to be successful. It's just the truth. It's just the way how marketing is. It's the way attention is. It's the way people are. That at some point, if you either gonna hate them and never buy their stuff, or you're going to love them and buy it. Either way, you're still talking about them. You get my point? No problem, Victoria. So continue again. Just whatever you do, just do those 4 things. Focus on your own pace and your own road. Remember, attention, attention, attention. Don't be afraid to make big decisions. And then if you have to, don't forget to change your surroundings. All right, so I hope this helped. Again, we're talking business, how to grow a business. And so those are 4 things I wanted to help you guys with today. Again, if you didn't hit the share button, make sure you hit it. If you got comments or questions, even if you watch this on the replay, drop them in there. I will definitely come back to them and respond. And if not, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night, starting at 8 o'clock, to the Scoop Radio Show. Tomorrow we're talking about the best things that your mother said or did or taught you. We're going to have a special giveaway for the person who calls in and gives us what we think, or what you all think, is the best story about your mother. So the show starts at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. I want you guys to tune in. Again, it's on blogtalkradio.com. I'll definitely post a link here. If you're on my mailing list, it'll be in your inbox tomorrow afternoon. And again, if you're in Scoop Nation, you'll definitely know that the link will be put there as well. So I hope you guys, again, if you guys have a good rest of your day. Tune in tomorrow. We also got new music from Big Rob Clay. We're going to be playing that tomorrow. We've got the Scoop Nation Hot Topic, and of course we're going to have the best in news. So tune in either online through blogtalkradio.com, or you can call 929-477-2304. That's 929-477-2304 if you want to listen to the podcast by phone. All right, y'all, I love you. Again, we grow together. Let's continue to dig in, and so we can learn this stuff together, man. This isn't easy. I can promise you this is not easy, but If this is something that you're passionate about, if this is something that that you know that you are called to do and that you are destined to do, then you know that quitting is not an option, and the last thing you're going to do is give up. So stay in there. Know I'm with you, and like I said, we definitely grow together. All right, guys, have a good night. Love you.